What would it feel like to have the confidence, faith, and grind to do all the things that you want to do? We're going to get into that right after this quick intro.
Whoa. Why y'all so happy?
You don't know? Sharvette Mitchell is on the radio.
It's time to get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Sharvette Mitchell.
Well, hello, everyone. And thank you so much for tuning into the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, but heard all across the World Wide Web. Hey, dolls. Hey, gents. Thank you so much because you know we have a phenomenal show. We keep it moving here. The goal of the show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And so we want to say hello to all of our streaming audience that's coming on in. Hello, Dr. Jackie, we see you already coming on in. Welcome. We know that all of the streaming platforms are building up our audiences. So hello to Facebook and Periscope. Give us some hearts, and YouTube. We appreciate you as well. And you might be hanging out at Sharvette.com. I am Sharvette Mitchell, your host for today, and I work with female entrepreneurs and a few lucky men to help them build their online platforms so that they generate more revenue with an amazing online brand. And this radio show is a part of that delivery. So let me shout out a few more people. Some of our listeners that are coming on in. Hello, Erica Lynn. Thank you so much for being here. Listen, we are going to jump into today's show. I'm really excited to have our guest hanging out in the virtual green room, Sharon Shannon. She's a certified life coach. She is a thought leader. She's a podcaster. She's an inspirational faith speaker and faith coach. And she's an Air Force veteran. Give it up. Thank you so much for serving our country. And we're going to just have a conversation today around faith. Now, this is not a religious, this is actually not per se only a religious topic, but I really believe, especially those of you that are entrepreneurs, small business owners, whether you associate with a particular faith or not, you know that there is a level of faith that you have to have when you are pursuing anything related to your dream. So we're going to jump right on into it. Welcome. Shout out to all of our listeners that are tuning on in. Hey, Kim, thank you so much. All right. Hello, the Candy Lady. Thank you, Tammy. All right, let's go ahead and bring our guest up on the air live on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Hello, Sharon. How are you?
Hello, everybody. What's going on, Sharvette?
I am doing amazing, and I'm so glad to have you on the show.
I'm excited about being here. You are awesome. I've been checking you out.
Thank you for checking me out. Thank you. We connected on LinkedIn, but so that was really great. Not LinkedIn, Instagram. We connected on Instagram,
right?
And so you have this amazing following. So then I had to come over to Facebook and follow you. And so I've got to start there. Your Facebook page. So first of all, we got to let people know what it is. But you have like 99 shares. I mean, you have so much engagement on this page of comments and shares. So I'm going to pick your brain about that. But tell people what your Facebook page is.
My Facebook page is In Sharon's Heart, and these women are just awesome. I've had that page really since 2016, and let me tell you, it's grown by leaps and bounds. You know, they are so hungry and so enthusiastic about faith. And how that can improve their lives. That when I go on and when I'm constantly trying my best to encourage them, it's very easy to do because they are excited about getting something for themselves every day.
Wow. And you have it's like 15,000, 17,000. Like give us, this is the time to brag. I'm going to my phone. Yeah.
Almost 16,000, Sharvette. And this is the thing. I had a goal that we would be at 20,000 this summer. So I'm a little bit behind schedule, but guess what? It's all right. It's all right.
I mean, listen, we can't shake a stick at the numbers that you have. And so it really, for that engagement, it is really just about giving people on your page the content that they want.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. You know, they want encouragement. Don't we all need that?
Yeah,
We all
absolutely.
need that. And sometimes when I post, there might be things I'm going through
Mm-hmm.
and how I encourage myself. And one of the easiest ways to encourage ourselves is to encourage somebody else.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'm lifting myself up because of them, really. They help me as well,
All
you
right.
know?
It's a
Yeah,
give
it is.
situation. So
Yeah.
wonderful. So
Mhm.
welcome to all those that are coming on in. We say hello. Thank you so much for checking out the Sharvette Mitchell radio show with our guest, Sharon Shannon, joining us, the faith coach. We're excited to have you here. Sharon, I want to pop up a comment that
Yeah.
we received from viewer Wendy Lee, Quiet Storm. She says, this sounds interesting. Never heard of a faith coach. I'd like to hear or see this. And so this was actually a comment before the show even aired.
Yeah.
So how would you answer that? Like, never heard of a faith coach. What is the definition of that?
Hmm. The impetus was of faith. Being a faith coach was because there was one time when I didn't have any.
Mm,
When I was going through a rough time in my life, and especially in the midnight hour, I would not talk to God. I would talk to my problems. I would
mm,
talk to the enemy. And as a result of that, I wasn't moving on. And one day I got a revelation. And I was like in the Bible with David. David had to encourage himself in the Lord and God. Why? Because all of these things were coming against him.
mm-hmm.
So he had to do that. He had to reach deep in himself, inside of himself, and say, I'm tired of living like this. I'm tired of it. So I was going through a show every day. I was like, I call it the robot show.
Yes.
Going to work, going to school, going to church, going to, all of these things, but not really taking care of myself, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
normally happened at night when we lay our head on that pillow. We're alone in our thoughts. So I said, I can't live like this anymore. I can't. So I started a blog on Blogspot.
I
Right.
remember your
And,
blog.
right. And you know what I mean? And I heard you on one of your episodes talking about how you were on blog radio.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Not despising humble beginnings, right? Doing something. So I started the blog. And of course, it's turned into what it is now in sharonsheart.com. But I say that because I want people to know that they can do a little. From a little, they can do a lot. So when I started the blog, I started feeling better about myself because the more we do, the more we can do. It's just starting where we are. So I just was blogging about faith, and then one thing led to another. The podcast came, and then the faith coaching came in 2019. And it was so natural that I would be it was the faith coach. That's what it is. Let me help people with their faith because I know that they can be helped if they want to be. If they're finding like they might be in a rut,
right.
No one has to live like that. Faith is the start of it. It's not the end. Some other elements to that.
That's good. That's good. And so how would you define faith?
Trust. And one word, trust. Now, my trust is in the Bible, is in God, right?
Right.
That's where I get my fuel, my energy from. I love the Bible stories. I love the people in the Bible who might have had a hard time but overcame that.
Yeah.
That helps me. It inspires me. It encourages me. And I read other books as well, in addition to the Bible. I think reading it's not overrated. I'm a teacher by trade as well. I teach high school. So we have to read to stay informed, right? So faith is, in one word, trust. And if we went a little further, confidence, belief. And really, Sharvette, that plays into my Faith Works model, which is ABG.
ABG. Somebody type that in the comments.
Yes.
Thank you for those coming in, listening in from Charlotte. We see you. Absolutely. Yes. Let us know that model. I want to hear that.
Yes. So A is for affirmations. B is for belief. And G is for the grind. Now, affirmations. What are we saying to ourselves? That plays into the Faith Works model, right?
Yeah.
What do we say to ourselves? Sometimes when I get up in the morning, I'm not feeling too good. All right. I'm not looking too good. But do you think I utter those words? Oh, no, it's the opposite. We have to say who God sees us as. God says we are wonderfully and made,
Yes.
right? Fearfully and wonderfully made in his image, right? Psalm 139:14, right? We need to believe it. So that's where the affirmation comes in. Who are we saying we are? Even if we're not feeling very beautiful,
Yeah.
even if we're not feeling this and that, look, we look in that mirror and we say, oh my gosh, look at you. You're so fine. Tag. It doesn't get no better than this. Right? Right. So thank you. So that's what we say. Positive affirmations, right?
Yes.
We have to speak confidence over our lives. So that's the affirmations, right? And then the B, the belief. What do we believe? What do we trust? Who do we trust? What is our confidence in? It's going to come out in our walk.
Yes.
And then the G is, what are we doing about it? Are we working towards it? Are we showing up? That's the grind part. A, affirmations. What are we speaking? B, what are we believing? What are we thinking? Proverbs 23:7, as we think. And here, what we are what we think we are. And then G, grind that thing out, showing up. And this is what I'm constantly helping women with in my coaching, Sharvette, personal or business coaching. It doesn't matter. I help women who feel like they're stuck. Maybe they don't have faith anymore. Maybe they never had faith. Maybe it's a belief thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an attitude, it's a certain thing, and they're thinking that they need help with. Or maybe they have those two elements, but they need help getting to the next level in their business or personal life to go to what God has for them. Next level. It's always going to be next levels.
Yes. Listen, y'all, this is open life class going on here right now. Are you taking some notes? Shout out to a bunch of listeners and viewers that are all around. Hey, Mary. Hey, Wendy. Hey, Shanae. Hey, Tony. Awesome. If you're just popping on in, this is the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, but heard all across the World Wide Web. And the goal of this show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we're here with Sharon Shannon, the faith coach. Sharon, give your Facebook a page one more time so they can connect while they're listening.
Okay, so it's in Sharon's heart. If they will just put that in. Now, let me tell you this, Sharvette. Some people say, well, how did it become in Sharon's heart? Remember, I told you I was going through that rough time.
Yeah.
I was going through that rough time, right? So I was like, okay, so I had a little, when we go back in our past, which by the way, we shouldn't stay in. All right. The past is the past. That's why it's called that. Come on, somebody. Right. So God says, let's go forward. Let's go. Your blessing is that way. It's not back there. He said, don't look back. Nothing back there. It happened already. And even if we're going through something right now, we don't have to stay there. Right. But so when I was going through my little changes and my little issues, right, which we all have, when life was happening to me.
Absolutely.
I said, okay. Yeah. I said, all right, I don't really think I'm going to trust anybody anymore. Right. And I was like, well, hold up. That was then. This is now. I was like, I'm not living like that either. Okay. That's not healthy. Right. It comes from a place of insecurity and unforgiveness. And I had to get out of that. And I'm telling you, when I made a conscious decision to do that, it was like a light came up, just came on. If we will just take one little step, right? So I said, okay, what do I name the blog? I said, okay. So I named the blog In Sharon's Head, right? And I was like, all right, no, we don't want that because that was the problem in the first place, the way I might think, my crazy thinking, right? That was the reason I took some setbacks. No. So I was like, okay, the heart, that's a pure thing. Whatever is here is really what drives us, the soul, the emotional thing. So I was like, okay, coming from a place of insecurity. And I didn't really know I was insecure. I thought I was the most confident thing going. Come on, somebody. Right? But when you get out of a certain, when you get out of a certain situation, Tuesday morning quarterback, and you're like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me? Yeah. So I realized that I didn't really have as much going for myself as I thought I did. Even though I did, we do.
Right? That's an ouch moment. That's a
Right.
sting. That's a sting.
Yeah. Because I was looking back and I was like, not looking back at now when I look back, it's just learning to help people. And I'm like, okay, let me make sure I remember this, my testimony, to help someone else. It's not looking back in despair and bitterness. I refuse. Because when we go through certain things, we do it because we can help someone else go through it. If we didn't go through it, who can we help? Right?
Nobody.
I can help people in their faith.
Yeah.
So I named it In Sharon's Heart. And I said, I'm going to be vulnerable in my heart to share my heart with others. In Sharon's heart, my heart to your heart to my heart. And that's what resonates with people.
Ooh, that's good. That's good right there. Listen, listeners, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And then when we come back, Sharon, I'd love to hear, and we have a lot of entrepreneurs and leaders that are watching and listening.
Awesome.
And I know that you coach in the business realm and in the personal realm. I definitely want to hear some tips or things that you have found that help your clients in this faith space that are also entrepreneurs. So we're going to let you slide back to the virtual room. And listeners and viewers, we are going to be right back and shout out to our sponsor, Sis Motivation. We'll be back after this commercial break.
Strategically Inspired Solutions is your source for personal and professional development services. Our dedicated team of transformational coaches, speakers, and consultants know how to drive innovation and deliver high impact results. In our one-on-one or group coaching programs, you will discover and design the authentic life you have always desired. Strategically Inspired Solutions also offers comprehensive consulting services to small, mid-size, and large firms. We invite you to join our family of clients and partners by visiting our website at www.sismotivation.com. We look forward to working with you in creating a newfound purpose, vision, and energy for yourself, your company, and within your communities.
All right. Again, thank you so much for our sponsor, Sis Motivation, Sabrina Page. Check her out. And if you're interested in being a sponsor and getting in front of this amazing audience, you can just jump over to Sharvette.com, which is the main website for this show, this podcast, this production, Sharvette.com. You can find out information about sponsorship and all that good stuff. All right. So let's jump back in with our guest again. If you're just popping in, because I know how this thing works. You got people come in, got people go. And so we're here with Sharon Shannon, and we're going to get back into this conversation around faith. And what do you say, or what have you found that helps clients that are business owners, women in business, related to faith? I think sometimes people might struggle with, is there a mix? Do I not mix it? What's your commentary on that?
It depends on whatever their business is. Some of it could be faith-based, and it could all revolve around the church or whatever, and some of it doesn't have to. Mine doesn't necessarily. My ministry is online, right? I just happen to have God in that. However, I work with people who are not necessarily faith-based businesses,
right?
Business women in general. Now, as we discussed earlier, Sharvette, faith means trust, right?
Yeah.
So, right. And now we take it from a biblical aspect. That's trusting in God, right? Period. Okay. Now, the people who might just say, Sharon, I might be, faithful person, but I just need help in my business. Normally I help entry-level business women.
Emerging.
Yes, exactly. And they might not know, they might not have any faith. They might not have any trust, any confidence. Maybe it might be personal confidence, or it might be no business confidence. And they don't know where to start. Because a lot of times as women, we think sometimes we have to be perfect. We think we have to start on top. I used to think that way. And I was like, if I can't have this right and that right, I'm not going to do it. So I was like, I'm going to go big or go home, and I stayed home. Okay. Okay. So
if that's you and you're listening, just type ouch. If you're on Periscope, give me some hearts. If you're on YouTube, and that was you, is you, put ouch.
Right. So I get my inspiration from the Bible, as we said, right? As well as other books, other women like you who are doing their thing, which, by the way, your setup right here is, nice.
Thank you.
Yes. And so we can get inspiration from anywhere that's positive and productive. Yeah. And I'm currently doing a podcast series. If anybody goes to my InSharon'sHeart.com, they'll see my podcast there. But one is called The Daily Devotional. And that is the blog that I started that was in Sharon's Heart. So if anybody types in InSharon'sHeart.blogspot.com, it's directed to the dailydevotional.org. See, we don't have to despise starting low.
Exactly.
Right? We don't have to be like down about that and say, I am so embarrassed that I don't want to do it, or I'm going to be laughed at, or people are going to talk about me. We have to do it scared.
Yeah.
We have to do it because I know there's some women who are listening to you, who listen to your show, and they want to do what you're doing. And when I say that, not only literally what you're doing with your radio show and everything else, your web development and everything else you have going on, right? Yeah. They want to do something they love as well, and they don't know how to take the first step.
Yeah.
And if I had someone like, if coaching was really big for me, which by the way, has been really big, coaching is not new to the extremely wealthy. It's been around, right? It just became mainstream in the last few years, right? Yeah. So, but if I had someone like me, like you back then, I'll tell you what, I would have been, and I'm not harping on it. I'm not down. I'm not bitter about it. I'm just stating a matter of fact. I would have been a lot further along.
Yeah.
And that's why I work with a coach.
Absolutely. And I said that to a client, having a coach puts you in the HOV lane. Yeah. Now, I don't know where you live. Some of you might live in different places, but I live near DC, and there are lanes that are specifically for people that have more than 2 or 3 people in their car. They can get in this HOV, this lane, and cut through the traffic and get there quicker. And that's what a coach does.
That's right.
A good coach.
That's exactly right.
People to fact check, because fact check. I think I see the ouches. Thank you, Wendy, and thank you. Fact check is not just for politics and not just for the president. People are fact checking and should fact check any coaches that they work with.
That's right.
That's exactly what a coach will do is accelerate for you. And so for the person that's sitting on the sideline, Sharon, sitting back, not wanting to take the first step because maybe the confidence level is low, or the faith, the trust in will this work is low. What are the initial first things that you say, okay, these initial 1 or 2 things will help you push past that? Well,
this is going to take practice. All right. It just does. It's like anything. Even LeBron James has to practice, and he's good. All right. So it doesn't matter what level we're on. There's always going to be a learning curve. So the first thing I would tell someone is to get their hands on something, a book, listen to someone who's inspirational for them. Weed out the toxic, negative people.
Ooh, that's good.
Extremely important. Yes. Because that's not helping us level up. That's not even helping us stay in the same place, because we're a hot mess, So even in the place we're in, when we're dealing with people like that, so it won't help us. So I would say that they need to get if they can't, let's say they can't get with a coach right now, right? Let YouTube be your coach.
There you go.
Follow 1 or 2 people. Read something from 1 or 2 people. Don't follow a whole bunch of people. stay away from the TV. I haven't had TVs for about 3 or 4 years. I have them in my house, but nothing is on them. I don't have any cable or anything because I pick and choose what I let in. So the first thing is to surround yourself with something that is going to add a positive deposit in your life. And stay away from people who want to withdraw from you. And every time you turn around, they're taking from you something. Even if they're taking your joy and your peace, that's mighty. I'm doing a series right now called Protecting My Peace. And every day on my podcast, because I was on my podcast has been archived since about maybe August of 2019. And I just started one up, but that was by accident. Because I was out walking my dog when I wasn't feeling very well emotionally. I was like, and me, I don't stay there long.
Right. And
I said, how can I protect my peace? What can I do about this? It's the same thing I'm telling you about how women, what we can do, and men as well. What we're bringing into our lives, which is affecting our belief, what we say, and eventually what we actually do, right?
Yeah.
We have to have positive things from that. So I was like, how can I get out of this? And again, it was very short because I'm not going to live there anymore. I lived there for a long time in despair and all that, right?
Right.
So what I started doing was I started just talking into the mic, and I started making a podcast episode. So I started my podcast episodes up 30 days ago. This is day 30, and it's called Protecting My Peace. And what I do every morning when I'm walking my four-legged baby is I just talk to the audience. It's part of my reflection time with God, and just being close and getting clarity and just letting things out, and it's fitness as well, right? Yeah. So I started talking into the mic, but I was like, my podcast always has like an intro, a body, and then an outro. No, you get what you hear is what you get. You hear cars, trucks, birds, the dog. Sometimes my dog is trying to get to another dog, and I'm busy talking to people. I'm like this with them.
Authentic and real. And listen, I got to shout out Sabrina Page, again, our sponsor for this month, Sis Motivation. And she's saying protect.
Yes, Sabrina.
Peace is key. And I say to myself, stay in a place of peace. If you are already in peace, stay in a place of peace. If there's anything that, like you said earlier, that's going to pull you backwards, pull you left, or pull you right, what can you do to stay in a place of peace? And oftentimes that is what we are taking in. That's what we're taking in. Oh my goodness, our time is it has flown by. Hey, Winnie, thank you.
Not so surprised.
Much. Not surprised. One of our listeners and viewers, Erica Lynn, said people will appreciate your authenticity.
She's right. Yeah,
absolutely. With the dog barking and the fire hydrants and all of that. But my last question for you, because I love to honor people's time. The goal of this show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we want to know what continues to motivate you.
I would say people who show up.
Yeah.
People who show up. I tagged a friend on your page earlier, Shanae. She showed up.
Oh, yeah, she's
right?
Here. Yeah.
Right. So my thing is, and she knows how I feel about this. She's also a coach. We talk all the time. Show up, be consistent. That is very difficult for people. So as when you asked earlier, Sharvette, what can women do? Show up for themselves, even if they have to start by telling themselves they're beautiful every morning. Just start there.
Yeah.
Show up.
Even if initially you don't believe it.
Come on.
Even if initially you don't believe your own words.
That's right. I do it all the time. Yeah. I do it all the time. I'm a brick house again. Let me see. Yeah. So it's not yet, but I will be.
There you go. Yes. Absolutely. Well, it has been a pleasure.
Likewise.
Keep up with you, and I say hi to those that may be watching in from your page that may get to this and are like, hey, I follow Sharon, so I'm listening into this. So thank you so much for being here, and just continue to do amazing things.
Thank you. so much.
You are welcome. You are welcome. All right, guys, that is going to wrap up another episode of the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Thank you so much for all those that tuned in live. And I'm telling you what, we just have an amazing time bringing you dynamic guests, and we're going to keep this train moving. So, as you listen to this, even if you popped in or out, share this out with people you feel would find value in this. And if you missed any of our other shows, just jump over to Sharvette.com. That's the main website for the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Jump over there. Thank you. We are seeing your comments. Thank you, Erica Lynn said, great show. Thank you so much for all those that are here. And so we're going to wrap it up and let you guys have the rest of your night. And I'll be talking to you all later on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Get Sharvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m., interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.